If you're sitting bored in your cab all day and you need something to get you through your day, check out Sweat and Grime on any of your podcasting platforms. We geared it to be entertaining and focused on the trades. We're not trying to teach you anything. We're not trying to get you to have a phenomenal working business. We just want you to have a good time. So check us out, Sweat and Grime, on any of your podcasting platforms. We appreciate it. Now, here's your video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's Down and Dirty isn't about equipment specifically. It's more advice for everyone in the industry. And while I'm going to gear this kind of towards newer guys, this message really needs to be heard by the older generations in our trade. And the message today is, don't be afraid of change. Embrace change. And what makes me say this? I host a show called The Dirt. And through that, I get exposure to a lot of OEMs and a lot of things that are happening kind of behind the scenes in our industry that aren't quite mainstream yet. And one of the things that has been just painfully apparent to me is technology isn't just kind of here in our industry. It is here, and it is rapidly changing what's coming down the pipeline. I mean, think about machines compared to what we were seeing even just 5 or 6 years ago with the amount of 2D grade control that's in the machines. Overdig protection. You have buttons galore all over these machines. You have more and more computer integration into these machines. The tools that we're using on the job site. Think about the GPS capabilities that we have now versus 10 years ago. It's everywhere, and it's infiltrating every aspect of the job. And where I go with this is, it's so easy to have the mentality of, the old school operator. Like, I'm not going to ever use those new features on that machine. And a prime example is some of the new dozer features. You will actually find that when you let the machine do its job, a lot of times the machine will outperform you as an operator. And I say that as an operator, and it hurts my pride a little bit to say that as an operator. But you have to stop thinking about that as the machine undermining your abilities as an operator. And instead you have to think about it as, we could be still framing houses with a regular hammer and nails, because it takes a lot more skill to swing that hammer and hit that nail than it does to just pull the trigger on a nail gun. But the flip side is, someone who's experienced knows how to use a hammer and nail. When you put a nail gun in their hands, they're going to be a lot more dangerous, a lot more productive, and a lot more efficient. That's the way you need to think about these new machines and all of this technology. Stop writing it off as a handicap for the younger generations, and stop passing it off as, well, it's just inhibiting my abilities. No, think about it. You were just given a nailer, and you were told, don't worry about the hammer anymore because this nailer will do a really good job for you. We appreciate the fact that you can use the hammer, 100%. And none of these young kids, I'll hand it to you, can use that hammer. And that's awesome, and it's badass that you know how to do that. But does it really make sense for you to be slaving away with your hammer next to a 20-year-old kid who's using a nail gun while you sit there and make a bunch of remarks to the kid using the nail gun as he works circles around you? That's what happens when you kind of get up in this mentality of all this equipment's just handicapping the next generation. Stop thinking of it that way. You're being given tools that allow us as true operators, not just the grouchy old men, but as true operators, we're being given new tools that are allowing us to be 5 to 10 times more productive than we've ever been in the past. But the only way that works is if you are willing to open yourself up to accepting and embracing the new technology and giving it a fair shake. And I will hand it to you that not every solution is going to be a great solution. There's a lot of these e-fences and things that 100% the new guys are going to use, and it's going to be good to kind of give them that handicap, and we may not need it as an experienced operator. But the flip side is, there's a lot of these things that are taking some of the workload off of our plate as operators. For instance, some of the blade control options in dozers, some of the, overdig protection on an excavator. That is one that just makes me laugh every single time when you have these old school operators. I don't need that. I don't need that. You don't need that. But if you could dig twice as efficiently because you're not having to slowly pull the controls back and make sure you're staying on a precise grade, and instead you're able to just yank those joysticks back and the machine's able to keep grade for you, stop thinking about it as you not utilizing your skills and start thinking about it as, holy crap, like I took my skill set that's already really good and I was just given a tool that may be twice as productive. Those are the terms you have to think about it. And to kind of take a step back and go even bigger picture, here's why. Is because when the industry went from cable driven machines to these newfangled hydraulics, I guarantee you there was a whole generation that went, you hydraulic operating lazy mother effers, you're not real operators. Back in my day, I had 18 levers and 14,000 buttons in order to run my dozer, and you just got 2 handles. Are those guys relevant anymore? I mean, yes, I'll hand it to them. They were more competent, more skilled operators than the hydraulic machines. But was their skill set relevant anymore? Are they still around? Would you ever compare the production that you get out of a cable-driven machine to a hydraulic machine? No, it's ridiculous. Like when you put it in those terms, it's ridiculous to hold on to the past because you think you're better. Instead, embrace what's coming, because the evolution that we're in right now and the amount of technology being injected into our industry, we're going through this evolution that I would put on par with going from cable-driven machines to hydraulic machines. And it's happening quickly. It's happening already. It's not kind of like it's about to happen. We're in the middle of the transition right now. If you start looking at the newer machines that are coming out, more machine control options, the remote control technology, there's just so many aspects of the industry that are changing at a very, very rapid pace. And over and over again, I see a lot of the older guys, especially in the industry, step back and just throw their hands up in the air in frustration as to why we're neutering the machines to cater to the younger generations. And you're so hung up on that younger generation and crapping all over them. You've got to recognize the tools that are being put into your tool belt, and you've got to utilize those tools, or else you will be left behind. And to be totally honest with you, if you're going to continue to operate cable-driven machines, to go back to my analogy, the industry doesn't need you anymore. You're irrelevant. And you will actually work yourself out of a job while complaining and bitching that your skill set isn't being utilized. So that's what I've got for you today. It's more of just kind of a nugget to chew on and to think about as we move forward in our industry. And for the newcomers in the industry, embrace the technology, embrace what's being given to you, and learn how to utilize that technology and make it work for you. Kind of learn from the old school guys about the workflow and what's happening on the job and how we accomplish things, and how to move material around and how to be efficient. But then come at it from the angle of how can I utilize this newer technology to become even more efficient. Yeah, the old guy's really good at cutting that grade with the dozer, but if I push this button, and this button, I can cut it 3 times as fast. Go for it. Go work circles around the old guys. Embrace the technology, because that's where this industry is going. That's the future. So that's all I've got for you today. You guys have a good one.